Hey y'all, welcome to My Way Mysteries, the channel that brings you interdimensional content, which means that the readings are from a broad and expansive point of view as they are channeled through vast dimensions of space and time and therefore should resonate with you guys whenever you come across them. So today we're going to talk about the dark feminine. This is a gift to a client of mine because she asked me something about this and asked me to point her in the right direction in terms of certain media. But I know that the media you find out there that talks about this topic is very shallow, and you can never be satisfied with what's out there concerning this topic. And I figured, so I'll channel a reading about it or a transmission about it, and that will activate certain aspects of your dark feminine blueprint, which will then allow for the archetypes, which are an embodiment of the dark feminine, to start to imbue you with certain knowledge, like start to transfer certain knowledge to you. Because also, to be honest, the dark feminine teachings are part of feminine mysteries, which is actually like a very high frequency type of teaching. It's actually not your normal day-to-day spiritual teachings. And so I think that's also why, as much as there's so much information out there about the dark feminine, but it's nothing meaty, like it's nothing that has actual substance. Because anything that has actual substance about the dark feminine, the archetypes will teach you themselves. It's almost like I don't want to say coven, but I mean I've already said it, so I'm gonna say it. It's almost like a coven. Like you not only have to be, you have to be invited. And for some, when you go deeper into the teachings, it kind of has to be part of your like spiritual bloodline type of thing. It's not information that's just given to anybody. But it's cool. I'm going to do this reading so that those who do require this activation, because they do have this part of them within their spiritual lineage, you can get a jump start for this blueprint within you, and your guides can take it from there. So the dark feminine represents a more complete aspect of femininity. When we speak about the dark, and I always explain this on the channel, how with dark, I never mean evil or bad or not good or anything like that. Just like when I talk about the dark side, it's actually one of the highest aspects of who you are. It's a more truer part of your nature because it is more encompassing of all your aspects. Whereas when we talk about the dark aspects of you here, we are not contrasting that against the light. That's not what it is. When we speak about dark here, we're talking about not fully understood, part of yourself that you're not fully aware of, because compared to the social conditioning, which is actually what the light is, compared to the part of you that is under the social conditioning, this is a part of you that is not explained to you very well. But not only that, you're not encouraged to explore it, because social conditioning gives us the parts of us that it wants us to tap into. And if a certain part of you is not under the requirements of being that within social conditioning, then it's more likely frowned upon and stuff like that. But that doesn't make it bad. We've already spoken about that on this channel. Like, that does not make it bad. Just because social conditioning frowns upon something doesn't make it bad. So in terms of the feminine, or especially maybe what you would call the light part of the feminine, right? That's always like the nurturer, the gentle one, the virgin, the chaste one, even though esoterically being chaste actually means something completely else. But like, we'll get to that on another day, or we won't. But yeah, so when we look at the energy of the dark feminine, it like I said, taps into the wider spectrum of femininity, which includes mystique, mysteriousness, magneticism, sensuality, a wildness of sorts, which is more of like an instinctual nature, like an ability to follow your intuition. Every time society says wild, they just mean they don't understand why you made that decision, and it's because you made the decision based on an inner knowing or an inner highlighting of certain things. So that would be called wild. Um, Dark femininity also includes a state of, or not a state of, but it also includes energies of destruction in order to create again. But yes, that also. And then when you look at archetypes like Bastet, it's also the ability to go to war, like the ability to fight isn't the word. Fight is something small. Yeah, dark femininity goes to war. And this is not about war against someone else. It's the war for yourself, to snatch yourself from being tethered to something that says you belong to it when you so clearly belong to yourself. So, some of the archetypes of dark femininity include Lilith, Hecate, Kalima, Persephone, my favorite. You also get like witches are basically under dark femininity. Sirens and mermaids are honestly under dark femininity. And when you look at all these archetypes, this isn't okay, fine. Like I get what everybody has against Lilith, but a lot of those stories are made up, especially the parts where she steals children and stuff like that. Come on, you'd only even have to be half tapped in to realize that that's a made up story. Like, come on. Lilith's biggest like thing that people have a problem with is the fact that she didn't want to be with Adam. If you don't know, Lilith was Adam's first partner. She was like, deuces, I ain't doing this. This is not for me, for whatever reasons, because there's many reasons why they bring up, which also, to be honest, a lot of the reasons they bring up are pretty stupid. You're like, come on. Again, you only have to be half tapped in to realize that's not the reason. But it's like whatever was the reason, like she doesn't want. So like, why must we hate her because she doesn't want? She doesn't want. But when you look at these archetypes like Lilith and Kalima, Kalima is about the destruction of the illusion, that which you are told is who you are in comparison to that which you really are. Kalima is about like burn it all to the ground in order to reveal that which is true, that which is real. Oh, Pombagira is also another dark feminine archetype. So, and then, okay, cool, you've got Kalima, you've got Lilith, and then you've got Lilith. Okay, fine. Honestly, Lilith, because I didn't speak much about Lilith other than like why she's mostly hated. But really, what happened with Lilith is that she was more powerful than the one they were partnering her with, and they were telling her to submit to something that's less than herself, and she said no. It wasn't a matter of Adam is a man and I don't like men, so fuck men. It was not about that. It was like, okay, but not this man though. I'm greater than this man in terms of knowledge, in terms of expansion of consciousness. So how can I submit to that which is less than me? That's oppression. That's not okay. That's no. It's a no. It's a no. And that's the thing with Lilith. Even though she was offered all these things, protection and whatnot, that's the thing. Like, oh, Lilith protection, like I can protect myself. Like, oh, provision. Ah, come on, be serious. I'm Lilith. I'm about the abundance. No, no, Lilith, what are you talking about? I'm connected to vast dimensions. Like, I got the knowledge. What else? What else? And that was it. Like, yeah, yeah. So that didn't go down very well. But it's not that Lilith was saying, I am not finna be with a man or anything like that. It was just, if you're gonna pay me up properly. That's all. And then we have Persephone. Yo, you see, it's interesting the contrast between Persephone and Lilith, because then you have Persephone, who is at a point in her life, as much as she has potential and she has the ability to gain more power, which is basically to be so aware of herself that nature bends to you. She has that potential, but she meets a man who already has that. Yo, so Persephone submits because she meets a man that is greater. But not only that, that offers to bring the greatness out of her out also. That offers to expand her consciousness also so that she can reach her full potential. And okay, yeah, by the way, I know the stories say Hades kidnapped Persephone. I mean, again, you just have to be a little tapped in to know that, like, boo. Persephone found a man that mirrored the dark femininity within her. Persephone without Hades is not a dark feminine archetype. She's a goddess of spring. But when she incorporates her dark femininity, she also becomes the queen of the underworld while being the goddess of spring. And that's another thing I want to bring up about the dark feminine archetype is that it's not, again, it's not in contrast to the light archetype. No, your shadow side, your dark side is a more complete version of who you are, which is to say it holds the light within it. It is from this darkness that comes the light. It's incorporated within there. But when you try and just be this light version of yourself and ignore the shadow and ignore the light, then the light is more like kind of like, you know, a light bulb instead of like the sun, you know? Then you have real light. You know, it speaks to that thing. I'm quoting this, I just can't remember from who, but this author or person was talking about how to be good is hard work. You cannot be something with no teeth and then claim to be good, because being good is hard. It's having teeth, it's having a shadow, it's having that part of yourself that is not easily understood by others, and you had to work in order to navigate that part of yourself, in order to bring out this light, in order to bring out this goodness. To be good without teeth is to... Okay, let's not go there. I don't want to offend. But that's also what your dark side or your shadow side does. Helps you grow your teeth, which are necessary. It is what it is. Okay. If you're... But let's do it. If you say you're good, but you actually don't have teeth, you're just harmless. And there's a difference between good and being harmless. And I remember one of the people in this whole thing was like, oh, so you mean that people have to be dangerous? Like, yeah. That's what dark femininity is. And maybe that's the criticism with it. It is dangerous. It is fucking dangerous. But that doesn't mean that dark feminine archetypes just go around burning villages and threatening. Like, if anything, every single one of the dark feminine archetypes are protective. They are protective of the ones they guide, of the ones they teach. So, okay, cool. I've spoken about Inanna before, like how she went to the underworld in order to face her sister, but gained a different aspect of herself because Inanna is the queen of heaven. And in her journey to the underworld, she basically developed her dark feminine archetype and became more whole and became more powerful than she ever was before. And then you have sirens and the whole sexual energy and the ability to magnetize, paralyze, and draw towards them that which they desire. Like the ability to use sexual energy as power. And that's also a big thing about the dark feminine aspect. It's about not being afraid of power. It's about not being afraid of constant transformation. It's about not being afraid of the flow that runs through you, that which nature herself has made you to be, in comparison to a smaller aspect of femininity, which is what social conditioning accepts of you, and that's all they want from you. They're like, yo, we just want you to be gentle, pat backs, give birth, and like that's it. Like that's it. We don't require this other part of you. And dark feminine archetypes allow you to tap into a more complete aspect of yourself, because yes, still giving birth, still patting backs, still nurturing, but also still doing so much more. Also being a leader, also protecting, also healing, also destroying, also being a warrior. Like all of it, right? All of it. Okay, so like I said, with the dark feminine archetypes, honestly, in terms of feminine mysteries, like I said, it's kind of an invite. How do you know the invite? Honestly, because like this client of mine that asked this question, you become like this. You kind of become hungry for the information, kind of angsty about it, and that is the sign of like, yo, ring ring, pick up the phone. We're calling you. Holler at us. We want to talk to you, type of thing. From these types of archetypes, it can be a quantum origin coven. It can be the entities that I spoke about in the last reading, the dawn reading, the reptilians. It can be the mothers. It can be sirens, mermaids, so like water entities. And it can also be the archetypes I mentioned, from Mary Magdalene to Lilith to Hecate to Kalima. Just know, oh, and Pambagira, which brings me to the next one. So in terms of a lot of times when you work with your dark feminine aspects, contrary to popular belief, because I'm sure you guys would think that this is where you enter your whole phase. Oh my God. Funny enough, no, this is actually where you enter your celibate phase. Isn't that interesting? In order to work with dark feminine aspects, you retain sexual energy, because it is your sexual energy that these archetypes use in order to connect you to certain higher information, but also to open certain portals for you that do not open for everybody, in order for you to learn certain things, in order for you to also obtain certain activations within your own, like, body, in terms of like your sexual organs, in terms of like your feminine organs, like, your breast, your vagina, your hair, your skin, your speech, your ability to attract, your ability to seduce. Seduce is not just for sexual reasons. You seduce your dreams, the things that you want in your life. You seduce the promotion that you want. You seduce the car that you want. All of that is about attraction. So, all of those things, all of those teachings, in order to connect yourself to them, you need energy. What kind of energy? Your sexual energy. The one that you would be giving away if you were in sexual relations with whoever. You hold that, you need that back. However, funny enough, this doesn't negate, I don't want to say the word, I don't know if YouTube will allow me, pleasuring yourself. Yes. And I know that with some of you, in terms of spirituality, you've been told how that's a really bad thing, or maybe because of religion, you've been told that that's a bad thing, and it invites negative or dirty spirits or whatever you've been told. That's not true in this case. I don't know in what case that is true, but you know me, I don't want to fight. So if that's true for you, I boo. But to everybody else that was like questioning it or on the fence, especially when you're now working with dark feminine aspects, celibacy, yes, but there will be these, it's between you and your guides, but don't be surprised if you feel the need to touch yourself. It's actually very encouraged, because it's part of the education of you. Part of the education is understanding that your sexual energy belongs to you, that it is the fuel of feminine energy. Everything comes from there. So you cannot have a mindset of the fact that your sexual energy belongs to another person. It can only be exercised when you're giving it to another person. Pambagira and Kali are one of the archetypes that will teach you that. They will help you pull back your energy when it comes to your sexual energy. Some of y'all, like, shit is not manifesting or whatever, because you've given your will, which in a feminine state is your sexual energy, you give that away, you've given it to someone else owns your sexual energy, or the people that you partner up with own your sexual energy. Yeah, but yeah, okay, let me pull some cards a bit, see what comes up, but I think that's about it. So yeah, that transmission, like I said, was basically to act as an activation for those of you that seem to be going down this path, and will allow you, so that even if you do want to look online, you now have a better idea maybe of what to look for. And I don't know what to do, but yeah, okay, yeah, but this is also part of feminine mysteries, are part of the dawn mentorship sessions. So if you feel like you're on that tip, like, be about that. Don't expect for me to Don't be like, oh, Zanne, because I get there, like, are you going to turn this into a reading or whatnot? No. It's something that comes up with the people that it applies to in their dawn mentorship sessions. So, yeah. Nalo muntu ongibuzile lento lena usisi we-dawn mentorship ukuthi nje besingakathinti lapho, kodwa naku-ke njengoba sekumzela manje, njengoba seyimlanda. But I'm glad, boo. I'm glad that you wrote the email instead, because it allowed us to also have this reading and just have more people be aware. Yeah, so like I was saying before, a lot of you are needing to pull back your sexual energy. And yes, that will require you to abstain. You know, not everybody is obviously going to abstain for the same amount of time. Some of you may feel like, Zan, I've actually been in a state of abstinence for a while now. Is this what I've been doing or whatnot? You tell me, boo. You tell me. Because like I said, when you're in the state, laba badlali, they're a very obvious group of entities or energies. It becomes very obvious with the way you're taking care of yourself. It's actually so beautiful. They teach you everything about you personally. So about your skin, about your diet, about your needs. Like your life suddenly becomes very personalized because obviously you've gone away from the social conditioning state of femininity, and you've gone into a more personalized state of femininity, and that requires more knowledge as to how to tend to it, how to be about it. So you receive knowledge or information about how to take care of your hair, how to take care of your skin, how to take care of your diet, how to take care of your child, how to take care of your man, like how to take care of your woman, whatever it is. But, and like those things, they may not be the things that are what everybody else is saying that's how you take care of your things, but you've been trying them, you know they work. How did we get here from abstaining? I'm laughing because now I'm getting bored back to us. Now I'm like, but you guys, how did we get here from abstaining? Okay, and in terms of the abstinence, if you are someone that, you know, lives with a partner and so forth, I mean, they'll show you, they'll direct you how to work that out, you know. They'll direct you how to work that out, because even still, so what I'm getting right now is that even when you have a partner, there's actually, how do I say, for all of us, there's, okay, for you guys, there's times when you're meant to be exchanging your sexual energy, because it builds up to an expansion of your consciousness. Guys, consciousness, again, I haven't said it in a long time, but consciousness is how you process your reality. So it builds up to expand how you process your reality. This is one of the most important things in the world, because how you process your reality, your consciousness, is how you connect to other ways of being, to higher ways of being. It's how you gain knowledge from lower ways of being, from limited like ways of being, from lower vibrations. Instead of just getting stuck there, you know how to take what you need from those dimensions, from those vibrations, and be out without getting lost in the sauce. And the same with the higher frequencies and even entities. Your consciousness, how you process your reality, allows you to connect to certain entities, to be able to perceive them, to be able to collaborate, to ask questions, to know things. How you process your reality, your state of consciousness, is what allows you to be able to connect to the energies I'm talking about right now, the dark feminine energies, to be invited into this state of being, which is a higher feminine state of being, a more whole feminine state of being. When you begin, when you begin, yes, you're in this state where there's like certain bouts. Is that what it is? Like certain states of abstinence. So it doesn't have to be like a 2-year stretch of abstinence, but there's also just more. Like you'll notice how when you were just like having sexual relations because your partner wants to and you don't even want to, like there's not like that anymore. Why? Because you are becoming more sovereign over your sexual energy, because you're realizing that you need it, you're using it. It's not just for you to just no, you're actually using this. It's your life force. So you'll notice how there's just more, it's a power. And so there's more of a understanding of this power, and because of that there's more of a monitoring of this power. There's this, okay, yes, now, because at this point there's that pull within you that says, now I exchange this energy with someone else and so forth, because that is what's necessary right now. That's actually what I need. And then there's times when it's like, no, that energy is still working within me, currently does not require any exchange with someone else in that way, because I'm already exchanging it in other ways. I'm using it in different exchanges right now, not in that way, not in a sexual way, but not this thing anymore where like your sexual energy belongs to someone else. And for those of you that are single, this ability to, I don't want to use the word control, like control the power, but it's kind of like that, for lack of a better word. That's why manage, manage, manage. Your ability, not control, manage. Never control. Control always limits things, because control makes you think you know things that you don't know. Trust me, you never know enough to control or want control over something. It's just not a thing. The best you do is manage, because when you manage, you are collaborating with another force that can be your higher self or your highest self in this state, which allows you to manage this force. It's a whole force. It's like I said, it's your life force. Also, control like 10. What is it that you know about what that will allow you to control? No, so we are never controlling. We, to be honest, we ride the force. Excuse the pun. We ride this energy. But for the sake of the transmission, I will say manage. You will be, your ability, for some of you, is for those of you who are single, or those of you that are like just dating, your ability to manage this energy is going to attract certain people to you, certain like people that are more expanded, people that have better understandings of themselves. Because some of you may feel like you're stuck in a dating pool that is like kind of like feeling like Lilith. Like, come on, the fuck? What is this? No offense, Adam. No offense. And like Lilith, you're kind of going to leave that dimension of those type of suitors, and you're going to step into a different pool of suitors where yo The sexual energy is rife, but so is the expansion of consciousness. The ability to attract in this part of reality, the ability to attract that which you want is potent. It is rife. Why? Because your sexual energy is potent. Because you are in a state where you manage it better. Where it's not just a thing that you don't know about. Like, it's whatever. No. This is a different type of state, guys. This is where you know how to take care of yourself in a different way. And for a lot of you, this may not be where you are right now, but it's where you're headed with the type of invitation that you're getting from this type of feminine mystery invite. Okay? Okay? And like I said, here at least the pool that you draw from, that you will draw suitors from, is much more clearer. It's much more suited to you. You also won't have to explain a lot of things like, I don't want to have sex today. Like, it'll like, yeah, that's cool, because like I said, more expansion in this pool here. At the same time, you've got the Devil card and the Empress. What does this mean? Oh, I see. They're saying something like, with more potent energy comes more of the shadow, more of the dark. So this will attract, yeah, this is gonna attract even more hidden things towards you. It will attract even more hidden knowledge. It will attract even more mystery when it comes to the feminine and you in particular. But also in particular, also in terms of like very much beginning with sex as a sexual act, and then like domino effect out into the rest of your life type of thing, right? Ooh, child. Some of you don't even enjoy the sex you're having. And girl, you're not doing it for you. You have sex as a form of servitude. And you're just going to be made aware, I guess, starting with this video, that's not what your sexual energy is for. You've almost been using your sexual energy to tame another person, and it's for so much more than that. Oh, and you're also going to realize how you managing your sexual energy in such a way where you begin to enjoy sex trickles out in your life and changes other things without you even touching those things. Hence the Empress card. You're about to tap into the higher level frequency of what the Empress energy is all about. So yeah, that's about what I have for you guys. If the reading resonated, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to book a personal reading, all that information is in the description box. If you want to book a mentorship session, that information is in the description box. Thank you to my client for writing that email, because look at us now. Yeah, later.